No institution more perfectly encapsulates everything that is wrong with modern society than the corporate workplace. When I started my first real job, something felt off almost immediately. I couldn't put my finger on it at first. The salary was fine, my benefits were okay, my coworkers seemed decent enough, but there was this gnawing, persistent unease. Every morning it felt like I'd walked into a building designed by people who hate everything that I am. The entire environment just felt weird. It took me a while to figure it out until I finally discovered the issue, which was that the modern corporate office is not a place of meritocracy, productivity, or fulfillment. It is something far more sinister. It's a machine, whether deliberately or not, specifically engineered to strip men of their masculinity, to grind down their ambition, to punish their natural instincts, and to transform them into these docile, compliant, neutered worker bees who would just sit quietly in their cubicles, collect their paycheck, and never cause trouble. And the worst part, most men don't even realize it's happening. They just feel tired, they feel bored, they feel vaguely depressed, that they start drinking more, working out less, losing interest in the things that used to excite them. They tell themselves this is just being an adult, but it's not. It's being broken. Our society wants men broken. I'm going to explain to you what exactly I mean and how we got to this point. Before we examine this problem in depth, it's important to understand where we came from and how we got here. For most of human history, work was something that was tangible. You could see it, feel it, and measure it. And the Bible even sheds light on this. After the fall, God told Adam, "By the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread." Work was curse and calling. It was hard, but it was honest. The farmer who tilled his field could look at the furrow he had cut and know he had accomplished something. The blacksmith who forged a plow could hold it in his hands and feel the weight of his labor. Same with the carpenter who built a house. He could stand back at the end of the day and see the walls where there were none before. Even as late as the mid-20th century, work had a certain masculine dignity to it. Men built things, they fixed things, they operated machinery, they solved problems with their hands and their heads. There was risk, there was sweat, there was the satisfaction of a job completed. And when the whistle blew, you went home tired but whole. Then came the information economy, and with it, the gradual but total transformation of work into something abstract, largely meaningless, and profoundly feminizing. Now, let's talk about work as it is today. I'm going to walk you through the architecture of a typical corporate office because I think the physical space itself tells you everything you need to know. You've got open floor plans, no walls, no doors, no privacy. You sit in a sea of identical desks and cubicles under harsh fluorescent lights that slowly destroy your circadian rhythm. Every phone call is overheard. You're constantly looking over your shoulders. The message is clear. You have no territory. You have no private space. You're a herd animal, not a predator. And then you've got the commute. You wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning. You cram yourself onto a train. You're lucky if you don't see a homeless person on there. Or sit in a bumper-to-bumper traffic and surrender 1 to 2 hours of your life every single day just to reach the place where you'll then surrender the next 8, 9, or 10 hours. By the time you arrive, you're already exhausted. By the time you leave, you're drained. Your best hours, the morning energy, the midday drive, are stolen by a system that doesn't care if you live or die. You wear what they tell you to wear. You look like every other man in the building because that's the point. You're supposed to shut up, blend in, keep your head down, and don't draw attention. Now, let's talk about what you actually do in this environment because the work itself is designed to break you. You've got endless meetings, huddle after huddle after huddle, stand-ups, syncs, scrums, retrospectives, planning sessions, alignment meetings, debriefs, check-ins, follow-ups, you name it. Most of these meetings could have been an email, and most of those emails could have been a single sentence. But here's the thing. Meetings serve a purpose beyond communication. They consume time, they enforce conformity, and they give middle managers something to do. And what exactly happens in these meetings? You sit quietly while someone with a communications or a theater degree talks about stakeholder alignment and leveraging synergies or any one of these meaningless corporate buzz terms. You listen to women and effeminate men use corporate jargon to say absolutely nothing at all. You bite your tongue when someone suggests another brainstorming session or a values workshop. You learn to nod, to smile, to say, "That's a great point," when what you actually mean is, "That is literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard." And then you've got compliance. Nothing ever gets done without sign-offs. You need permission to do just about anything. To spend money, to hire, to change a process, permission to breathe. Every decision is funneled through layers of bureaucracy designed to slow things down, create accountability that leads nowhere, and ensure that no one can be blamed when something fails. And the result? Nothing moves. Initiative is punished. The only thing that gets promoted is patience, the willingness to actually wait, to defer, and accept the reality that your ideas will probably die on someone else's desk. And then you've got the final boss, the HR Leviathan. The Human Resources Department actually started as a way to manage payroll and benefits. It has now become the most powerful, most feared, and most destructive force in corporate America. HR is now there to protect you. HR is there to protect the company from you. And the people who staff HR, you already know the demographics. It's overwhelmingly female, overwhelmingly progressive, overwhelmingly hostile to traditional masculinity. They're the commissars of the corporate state, enforcing speech codes and ideological purity. One joke, one offhand comment, one email taken out of context, one accusation from a coworker who decided she didn't like the way you glanced at her, that's all it takes. You will be summoned into a windowless room, interrogated by two women who have never produced anything of value in their lives, handed a pamphlet about microaggressions, and sent to mandatory unconscious bias training. Your career is over. It will not recover. Your reputation is done. All for the crime of being a man in an environment that hates men. Now, as you work in corporate America, one fact becomes patently obvious, which is that corporate culture is deliberately designed to suppress masculine traits and elevate feminine ones. When you think of masculine traits, you think of assertiveness, competition, risk-taking, direct communication, hierarchical thinking, physicality, emotional restraint. You think of feminine traits, you think of consensus building, emotional expression, vulnerability, collaboration, egalitarianism, passivity, emotional sharing. The corporate workplace rewards the second list and punishes the first. You cannot be too direct because that's toxic. You cannot compete openly because that's not being a team player. You cannot take risks because that's unprofessional. You cannot express anger or frustration. That's toxic masculinity. You cannot even sit in silence because silence itself is not engaging. Every performance review, every 360 feedback session, every leadership development program tells men the same thing. You need to be more like women. You need to share your feelings. You need to ask for help. You need to show vulnerability. You need to listen more, talk less, and never question anything. And what happens to the men who don't comply? They're managed out. They're labeled difficult to work with. They're denied promotions. They're put on performance improvement plans that no one survives because the system doesn't need to fire them. It just makes their life so miserable to the point that they end up quitting. And when they do, they're replaced by someone more compliant, more malleable, more willing to check their masculinity at the door. Now, this isn't just about feelings. The feminization of corporate work has measurable physical effects in men's bodies and minds. First, testosterone decline. Sedentary work, artificial lighting, chronic stress, and a lack of physical activity all lower testosterone. The average man today has significantly lower testosterone than his father did at the same age. The corporate office is a testosterone suppression chamber. Mental health collapse. Anxiety, depression, burnout. These are epidemic among corporate workers. Men are particularly vulnerable because they're told to open up. But when they do, they're penalized. You're not allowed to be angry, but you're also not allowed to hide your anger. You're not allowed to be sad, but you're also not allowed to pretend you're fine. You're caught in this weird double bind with no exit. And then you've got physical deterioration. 8-9 hours a day in a chair destroys your posture, weakens your back, atrophies your glutes, and tightens your hips. Your body becomes soft, weak, and feminine. Not because you're lazy, but because the environment literally prevents you from moving. Then you go to the gym for an hour, trying to undo the damage, and wonder why you're still tired and still in pain. Now, this video would be woefully inadequate if we did not address the elephant in the room, which is DEI. Corporate America claims to care about diversity, equity, and inclusion. But the only diversity they really care about is racial and sexual diversity. When it comes to diversity of thought, specifically thought that challenges the feminist progressive orthodoxy, there is absolutely zero tolerance. And if you're a white man, you're already at the back of the line because you are, by virtue of your birth, privileged according to society. Diversity quotas ensure that women and minorities get moved ahead regardless of merit. Companies brag about their gender balance and their representation goals as if hiring someone because of their chromosomes is something to celebrate. Meanwhile, men's issues are ignored. Suicide rates amongst men are 4 times higher than among women. Men are falling behind in education at every level. Men are more likely to be homeless, more likely to be addicted to drugs, more likely to die on the job. And corporate America's response? More women's leadership programs, more International Women's Day celebrations, more inclusive language guides. Not one single program for men. Why? Because our society hates masculinity. Now, as usual, I'm not going to leave you with just doom and gloom. There's a way out, but it requires courage, sacrifice, and the willingness to walk away from the golden handcuffs. Option 1 is to leave the system. Start your own business. Go into the trades. Work for a small company. There are a million ways to make a living that don't involve an open plan office and all the corporate nonsense like mandatory sensitivity trainings. You might make less money, but you at least have your soul. Option 2 is to refuse to play the game. If you have to work in a corporation, do not internalize their values. Do your job, do it well, and then go home. Don't attend the optional happy hours. Don't participate in the virtue signaling. Don't share your feelings in these team meetings. Keep your head down, collect your paycheck, and use your off hours to build something real, a business, a skill, a body, a family. Treat the office like a prison you're serving time in, not a community you belong to. Option 3 is to fight back if you want to. Speak up in meetings. Challenge bad ideas, refuse to use their language, call out the hypocrisy. You'll probably get fired eventually, but at least you'll leave with your dignity intact. And who knows, you might inspire someone else to do the same. We must conclude. The inescapable, obvious fact of the matter at the end of the day is this. As a man, you are not meant to sit in a chair for 8, 9, 10 hours a day staring at a computer screen. You are not meant to ask permission before making a decision. You are not meant to suppress your competitive instincts, your physical energy, your directness, your ambition. These things are not flaws. They're gifts. They're what made civilization possible. They're what built every skyscraper, every bridge, every road, every machine that makes modern life possible. The corporate machine wants you weak. It wants you confused. It wants you to doubt yourself and defer to effeminate authority and apologize for existing. Because a population of weak, confused, apologetic men is easy to control. And control is the ultimate goal, as we all know. Don't let them have it. Walk away or refuse to play or fight back. But do something. Because the alternative, which is sitting in that cubicle for 40 more years, slowly dying inside, wondering where your life went, is not living. It's just waiting to die. And you are meant for more than that. And so with that, thank you for listening and watching. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. God bless you.